Hello and welcome to the final week of the 2019 Crochet Between Worlds Advent Meditation Podcast. My name is Michelle and I am the Australian half of the Crochet Between Worlds blog. You'll have to excuse my voice this week. Something wiped out my immune system last weekend, so I've had several days in hospital and am still quite susceptible to the germs my 18-month-old shares so enthusiastically. I'll do my best to edit out the coughs. This is such a busy time of year for many of us with lots of competing priorities. The idea of these podcasts is to take a short time out of your week to sit, listen, and create mindfully. Over the 4 weeks of Advent, we've crocheted a set of 4 decorations with one pattern released each week. The recordings have been less than 30 minutes long, and this one should be no different. The pattern is a mystery that will unfold before you to keep your focus on the stitch you are working right now rather than looking ahead. There will be no chart and no written pattern. We will count the stitches at the end of each round to catch any mistakes early, and please feel free to pause and rewind if you need to listen again. You might think that you can figure out how the pattern is going to go from the first set of stitches in each round and zip ahead, but I would encourage you to slow down and work each instruction as you hear it. Don't forget, if I'm going too fast, you can also reduce the playback speed in YouTube to 0.75. If you slow it down much more than that, it sounds like I've been definitely getting into too much of the Christmas cheer. The decoration we will make this week is inspired by love. What do you love most? How do you share that love with others? Tell us in the comments or when you post your decoration on social media or Ravelry. We would love to see more of your photos of the decorations that you've made. So grab about 15 grams of DK yarn. I'm using Starcraft Classic Cotton, a 4.5mm or H hook, a yarn needle and your yarn scissors. I'll assume you are comfortable with magic circles and US terms chain, single crochet, double crochet, treble crochet and slip stitch. For any other stitches mentioned, there will be a stitch guide with links to tutorials in the blog post attached to this podcast. If you are good at standing stitches, that will make your finished product look neater, but chains work just as well. I'll mention both options where they're relevant. So find a comfortable spot and settle in, perhaps with a cup of tea and a blanket if it's chilly at your house, or an iced coffee and a fan if you're in the southern hemisphere like me and it was also 42 degrees at your house today. Plug in your headphones and let's go. Start with a magic circle. Into your magic circle, work 10 single crochet. Close your magic circle. Then join to the first single crochet you worked with a slip stitch. At the end of round 1, you should have 10 single crochet in a magic circle. Round 2. Now we're going to start round 2 with a beginning DC3 together. So if you're not familiar with that stitch, pause now and go and have a look at the tutorial on the Crochet Between Worlds blog attached to this podcast. I will say in this round, all of the legs, the stitches of your DC3 togethers will be worked into the same stitch of round 1. So to start round 2, do a beginning DC3 together in the first stitch. chain 4. Skip 1 stitch and work a DC3 together into the next stitch. Remember, all 3 of the double crochets in the DC3 together are worked into the same stitch. Chain 4. Skip 1 stitch and work a DC3 together into the next stitch. Chain 4. Skip 1 stitch and work a DC3 together into the next stitch. Chain 4. Skip 1 stitch and work a DC3 together into the next stitch. Chain 4. To finish round 2, we're going to join back to the top of the first beginning DC3 together that we worked in round 2 with a slip stitch. At the end of round 2, you should have 5 little 3DC clusters, or 3 DCs together, separated by 5 chain 4 spaces. Round 3, chain 1. Work 1 single crochet into the top of the beginning DC3 together from the last round. Into the next chain space, work 5 single crochet. Into the top of the next stitch, which is your next DC3 together, work 1 single crochet, then chain 2, and then work another single crochet into the same stitch. In the next chain space, work 5 single crochet. Into the top of your next stitch, work 1 single crochet. Chain 2, and work 1 more single crochet into the same stitch. Make 5 single crochets in the next chain space. Into the next stitch, work 1 single crochet, chain 2, and work 1 more single crochet into the same stitch. Into your next chain space, work 5 single crochet. Into the next stitch, work 1 single crochet. Chain 2 and work another single crochet into the same stitch. Into your last chain space, work 5 single crochet. Now we're going to work 1 more single crochet into the first stitch that we worked into. Then chain 2, and to finish round 3, join to the first single crochet you worked in this round with a slip stitch. At the end of round 3, you should have 35 single crochet, which is 5 lots of 7 single crochet separated by chain 2 spaces. Round 4 is going to require you to pay a little bit more attention. I know, how can you pay more attention? We're also going to be doing half double crochet stitches, so if you're not familiar with how to do a half double crochet, please pause now and have a look at the tutorial on the Crochet Between Worlds blog. So round 4, chain 1. In the first stitch, work 1 single crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 half double crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 treble crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 half double crochet. You should have 1 more stitch now before the chain space, where you're going to work 1 single crochet into that stitch. Now slip stitch into the chain space. In the next stitch, work 1 single crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 half double crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 treble crochet. Into the next stitch, work 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 half double crochet. In the last stitch of this side, work 1 single crochet. And then slip stitch into the chain space. In the next stitch, work 1 single crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 half double crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 treble crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 half double crochet. Now you should have 1 stitch left before the chain space. Work 1 single crochet into that stitch. And slip stitch into the chain space. Into the next stitch, work 1 single crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 half double crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 treble crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 half double crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 single crochet. Slip stitch into the chain space. In the next stitch, work 1 single crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 half double crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 treble crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, work 1 half double crochet. Now into the last stitch of this round, we're going to work 1 single crochet. And then we're going to work a slip stitch into the chain space. That's the end of round 4. We're not going to join at the end of this round because we've just slip stitched into the chain space, so we'll pretend that that's the join for this time. So at the end of round 4, your decoration should be star shaped. You should have 35 stitches and 5 slip stitches. Each group of 7 stitches is a single, a half double, a double, a treble, a double, a half double, and a single to make each point. Round 5. Work 1 single crochet in the first stitch of round 4 that you worked, so 1 single crochet into the first single crochet of round 4. Work 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. Into the next stitch, which was the treble in round 4, we're going to work 1 single crochet, 3 chain and another single crochet all into the same stitch. Work 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. The next stitch we're going to work is called a spike single crochet, which is effectively a really long single crochet working into a previous round. If you're not familiar with what a spike single crochet looks like or how it works, please pause now and have a look at the tutorial on the Crochet Between Worlds blog attached to this podcast. So we're going to work our spike single crochet into the top of the DC3 together that we made in round 2. Make sure you pull the yarn up to the height of your previous work. Now skip the slip stitch on round 4 and work 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches of round 4. Into the next stitch, which will be your treble crochet from round 4, we're going to work 1 single crochet, 3 chain and another single crochet back into the same stitch. Work 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Next we're going to work another spike single crochet into the top of the DC3 together from round 2. Your spike, by the way, should fall sort of between the 2 single crochet you've already worked into that stitch when we did round 3. Skip the slip stitch of round 4 and work 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Into the next stitch, which is your treble crochet from round 4, work 1 single crochet, 3 chain and another single crochet into the same stitch. By adding 3 chains in each of the corners, it makes our star nice and pointy. Work 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Work your next spike single crochet into the top of the DC3 together we worked in round 2. Skip the slip stitch of round 4 and work 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Your next unworked stitch should be the treble crochet of round 4. If you're finding you're not up to the treble crochet, make sure you've skipped the right number of stitches behind your spike stitch. You haven't accidentally worked into the slip stitch or also skipped the single crochet. So into that treble we're going to work 1 single crochet, 3 chain, and 1 more single crochet into the same stitch. one single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Work a spike single crochet into the double crochet 3 together from round 2 below where your yarn is at the moment. Skip the slip stitch of round 4 and work one single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Into the next stitch, which should be your treble crochet from round 4, work one single crochet, 3 chain and another single crochet into the same stitch. Work one single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Now our last stitch of the round is the last spike single crochet into the top of the DC3 together of round 2. We are going to join at the end of round 5, so with a slip stitch join to the first single crochet that you worked in round 5. At the end of round 5 you should have 40 single crochet with 5 spike stitches and 5 chain 3 spaces. No Christmas decoration is complete without a hanging loop, so we'll do that next. There are 2 ways to do this. Either you can cut your yarn and reattach it at any chain space. Alternatively, you can slip stitch along the 3rd loop of the single crochets of round 5 until you reach the next chain space. It's up to you which you think looks easier, has the least ends, but I invite you to pause now while you move your working yarn, either by cutting or slip stitching in the 3rd loop to the next available chain space. Alright, I'm going to assume you're at your next available chain space. If you've worked slip stitch along the 3rd loop, work slip stitch also into the chain space and then chain 20. To complete the loop, slip stitch back into the same chain space where you started. Finish off your yarn and weave in the ends. Thank you so much for joining us for this Advent Meditation Crochet Along in 2019. We've had a lot of fun sharing these patterns with you. We hope that your trees and your houses are even more beautiful with the extra decorations. And we really appreciate all of the feedback and kind words that you've said. Hopefully, we'll be back in 2020. Thank you and Merry Christmas.